Sports Rap Live. We've got
Soccer Tucker over here asking inappropriate questions about basically, would you Adele?
Would you Adele?
Would you?
Ooh, wow.
See, that's what I cut off, and that's when I said, all right, Luis is asking weird questions.
She's
All
chubby
right.
cute.
Well, from Adele to bonus SRL, you see how I rhyme there? The Unwrapped bonus show we are bringing from Vegas all the way to Cover Girls Houston right here in H-Town this Wednesday from 9 to 11 p.m. on Sports Talk 790.
I haven't been out there in a while, man. I haven't been out there in a while. I'm kind of curious of where's the cheapest buffets?
Oh, man. Cheapest buffets?
Yeah. Do they still do that?
Do they serve food from 9 to 11 p.m.?
In Vegas?
You're talking about
Oh,
Vegas.
in Vegas.
In Vegas.
I thought you were talking about Cover Girls.
You should go to the
I thought you were talking about Adele.
The buffet is plenty, you know.
Oh, man.
the Hooters
Oh, yeah, they
Casino.
still do the buffets
Yeah,
in Vegas.
okay.
Absolutely.
Bunch of dirty-minded guys.
Wow. Well, you guys are going to be live on the scene at Cover Girls right
Maybe
here.
they have a buffet at 9 to 11. The
Oh.
Rat Pack buffet special.
I hope so, man. I hope so, because you guys are going to get hungry for some more sports talk, and y'all are getting bonus time on Wednesday from 9 to 11. And Kadoma and I will join you guys live on air from Vegas for Magic. Of course, the trade show. We're going to be covering all the events out there, all the after parties, everything that's going on. Of course, we're going to go see our brothers at the Diamond Supply Co. table and see everything that's coming out for summertime. Looking forward to that. And we've been real hoops heavy tonight here on Sports Rap Live. But let's get into a little bit of NFL talk as we take you to the top of the hour. And if you guys want to join the conversation, as Premium Pete, of course, and Miranda from Canada have tonight, Bun B was definitely keeping the conversation going all night. And he's had to take care of the Queen for Valentine's Day. So props out to Bun B.
Don't forget, gentlemen.
No, that's Tuesday.
Yes.
That's why I'm taking wifey with me to Vegas.
As a reminder.
Yeah, so I don't forget
I don't know what y'all
Valentine's
talking
Day.
about. My Valentine's Day is going to be on Wednesday night at Cover Girls.
There you go. Andrew, I can't wait to see who your Valentine
You
is.
said that.
You
Now
gotta
you
go
got-
to,
Are you
go to
gonna bring-
Walgreens in the morning.
Are you going to bring the
35%
little
off.
candy hearts to pass out to all the ladies there?
Nope, just dollar bills.
Just dollar bills. My man, right there. Awesome. Well, we hope
it's
you
gonna
guys.
be interesting Wednesday.
We hope you guys join us. Of course, amphouston.net will be out there as well because apparently they're letting the cameras in the club that night.
What?
So that should be very interesting. I can't wait to see the podcast live on sportsraplive.com.
We're gonna add CGI or those little black boxes right there, you know, with AMP right on there, right on the letterhead right there.
Absolutely.
Can I have my face blurred out?
How about amp pasties? That would be
There you
nice
go.
too. That'd be nice too.
That's definitely some
I still
promo
haven't figured
material.
that out. I'm still angry about that as well.
Yeah, that whole law. I don't know. Maybe you could get to the bottom of that, Andrew. And figure
I
out
tried
what's
to
going on.
last time.
Yeah, I bet you did. But you tried to get to the bottoms. Oh, all right. Well, Bill Simmons apparently is trying to get to the bottom of whether or not we might have the NFL at all in the foreseeable future, as on his website this week, an interesting article, to say the least. Of course, it's very hypothetical, but it was posted by Tyler Cohen and Kevin Greer on the NFL's continual head injury crisis and how it's not far-fetched to think that the NFL could vanish one day. Now, I'll read you guys a little bit of the article, and then I'll let y'all comment on it.
That sounds so weird.
Before you say that football is far too big to ever disappear, consider the history. If you look at the stocks in the Fortune 500 from 1983, for example, Gons,
Okay.
of course, where the NFL is today,
Right.
40% of those companies no longer exist. The original version of Napster, now nobody at Napster was taking head-on collisions, of course, but Napster no longer exists, largely because of lawsuits. No matter how well a business matches economic conditions, at one point in time, it is not a lock to be a leader in the future of that company. And it is true for the NFL too. Sports are not immune to these pressures. In fact, the first half of the 20th century, the three big sports were baseball, boxing, and horse racing. And today, only still one of those exists as one of the top three considered sports in this country. Andrew, your thoughts on this?
It's a good point. I mean, you have to put things in perspective, and things only have a shelf life of so long. Who's to say that, right now where you're watching the NFL and, 10 years from now, and it might be just all UFC with some sort of ball involving like a sport of scoring, you know. I mean, really, who's to say that that's not the final frontier of, you know, or the next thing? I mean, he makes a good point, but I don't know that if you just want to, is this focusing more on just the injury part of it? Because if it is,
It's focusing more on the lawsuits. I read the article myself.
I don't know that the lawsuits, because the NFL is bigger than those lawsuits. These NFL teams are, I mean, they're the most valued franchises of sports in the United States. So I think they're sort of immune from the actual, you know, penalty of being fined or anything like that. But I think there is a good point to be made about, you know, the shelf life of things, and, you know, things can only last so long.
I'm going to say I disagree with their point, just to the fact that they're kind of putting it that it's staying at this particular level. NFL, what they ended up doing from the 80s to now is they're constantly evolving the game, which since baseball at that time was much bigger, they seem to kind of go retroactive and go backwards, as opposed to NFL with the HD TVs and their marketing and the way they're attracting more people to the game.
One of the most progressive sports out there.
Because they're basically kind of like AOL and internet. They were the top dog not too long ago, and then they just got kicked to the curb because they didn't evolve. If you don't evolve, you're going to get, you know, left behind. If they continue on, you know, trying to do improvements with helmets and things like that, I don't see them just leaving the helmet as it is. There's going to be, you know, some more R&D with making helmets, you know, safer, more programs.
Or
now.
maybe we go the complete opposite way, Gons, to no helmets, no face masks on the helmet. I mean, who's to say? I don't know.
I would say that'd be going backwards when they had that one stick across the
Or
across
before
the
that,
mouth.
the leather pieces.
But I mean, with what I've been hearing, there's like organizations now that go to middle schools and high schools where they're trying to train the coaches of how to tackle properly, you know, things of that nature. I see them going the more progressive route because that's what they have to do.
Well, ESPN's gotten rid of their, what was their Sunday favorite segment?
They had the greatest hits.
Yeah, it was called Jacked Up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you don't see those hits played over and over and over unless it's somebody that gets fined, and that's the irony of it, because that's when you see the highlight over of James Harrison smashing Massaquoi from Cleveland, you know?
Right, but so I would say if they're not going to go progressive on it, then yes, I think they'll get booted out. Because like with UFC, they used to be, you know, tough man. And it was just a bunch of farmer guys beating the crap out of each other until they actually started getting some regulations in there. And then it's like I said, they were constantly trying to evolve. And then once Dana White stepped in with the marketing and actually getting these fighters, you know, prepared, and it was actual fighters, not just the guy from the bar beating up on the other guy.
Right.
It started to pick up.
More skilled.
Exactly.
Well, hey, you know what else is picking up is some of this free agency talk. The NFL season may be over, but the pigskin just doesn't stop, just like H-Town here. We're going to have the Combine coming up. We're going to have the free agency period. I saw some of the All-Star events earlier on ESPN where they have some of the college players run through the gauntlet. They run through the obstacle course. They do skill set games, things like that. But one story coming out of Pittsburgh this week has the Steelers parting ways with all-time leading receiver and leader in the locker room there in Pittsburgh, Hines Ward. Yeah.
I did not hear about that.
Yeah. It's been the talk all week, and the team has said that the record-setting receiver will not be back with the team next season. He will be cut. And I want to ask you guys, do you see Hines Ward suit up for another squad? And real quick, because we're getting to the top of the hour, or do we see him in a button-down and a tie this fall?
I don't think there's another team that'll want to pick him up. He just doesn't have any upside. What is the upside for them? Now, if you have a rookie core of wide receivers that need some guidance or someone that you think, you know, can give them some sort of help, maybe. But even then, he, as a locker room guy, I wouldn't pay the money it's going to take to bring this guy in just to have him in there to throw on your team's gear just to help your guys out. It's just not worth it. There's literally no upside to bringing him in other than he's a good clubhouse guy.
Guys like Hines Ward, they retire with the same team. You know, these guys, they're one team kind of guys. You know, they're once in a generation for a team, and they're you know, just a handful of these guys in our generation. So I think you'll see him on TV. I think he'll be great on TV. He's got that media swagger, that media personality. And one guy that we don't want to see broadcasting games on TV is Peyton Manning. It looks like, you know, that's going to be the first major domino going into this offseason. It's going to start in Indy, and Peyton's roster bonus deadline looms. It's getting closer and closer by the minute, and I don't know if Peyton Manning's going to be huddling up this fall at all, Gons, but where would he be?
I don't know, but all I do know is there's going to be a whole lot of Schefter and a whole lot of more spice. It's gonna be way too much of them. I'm like, oh, Schefter, get out of here.
Yeah,
man.
that's true. That is true.
I don't know. I know it's gonna be a lot of weird Ursay Twitter blasts that are gonna happen.
Rob Lowe Twitter blast.
Let me ask you this though.
You know what Rob Lowe's is going to tweet out one day? It's just going to be like Miami, and everyone's going to know what it means.
Right. Let me ask you this as we go to station identification. Would you rather have Peyton Manning talk this offseason or the Brett Favre rigmarole?
No,
Brett Favre, because I already know what to expect. I mean, there's so many weird ways that can go from now. We've already done the whole sexting photo stuff, and there's only weird places left to go with Brett Favre. We've already done all the normal stuff. Now it's just taken in a different direction. I'd rather do that than the Peyton Manning stuff, because the Peyton Manning stuff, it seems like it's all Manning all the time after the Super Bowl and with this.
Yeah, it threw the Super Bowl, leading up to the Super Bowl. Speaking of the Super Bowl, of course, Giselle, she sure didn't call out Gronk for his shirtless celebration in the club, fist pumping his way all the way to TMZ after she called out her hubby's receivers for the big drops in the Super Bowl. And Gronk has since had arthroscopic surgery on that ankle. That was all the talk leading up to the big game in Indy.
I have no problem with him going out and celebrating. He's 22 years old. He doesn't know any better. He shouldn't know any better. If you're 22 and you're a professional athlete, go out there and have fun. Now, does it look right that after the game he's not so disappointed about the game? This is his job. You have bad days at your job. You have good days at your job. You have days where you go after work, you want to go get a beer and just kind of relax. So, for Gronk to go out there and just kind of blow off some steam, that's no problem. The fact that he doesn't take it as seriously as me, I hope, is the reason that, some of us are fans, or our listeners are fans, and they're not the ones playing the game,
There's been nights when you've had a bad show right here on Sports Rap Live.
No.
I've seen you.
No, there's not.
Oh, that's right. Not you. But I've still seen you fist pumping at the club
But
with
if
your
he's
shirt
22
off.
years old, I don't have a problem with that, do you?
No, I
He's
don't.
22.
I don't.
And
but-
I have no problem with Giselle backing up her husband either. You know why? That's her husband. She can. Okay, your wife, Adam, if you tell her something and she's gonna be always have your back.
Sure.
Your spouse is gonna have your back. You think she cares about your coworkers? Maybe a little, but she'll let you apologize.
Right,
Then. First and foremost, she's gonna have your back.
well,
for Giselle,
Mrs. Gons has his back and his front.
yeah. But for Giselle,
Damn straight.
That's
for her
right.
to
Damn
support
straight.
Tom
That's
Brady,
right.
there's nothing wrong with that. That's her husband. She's gonna support him. His teammates, she could care less probably what Wes Welker thinks right after the fact. She's going to support her husband. It's not her husband's fault that those guys dropped the passes, and that she's just telling it like how it is. It's also the truth. He threw those passes that were catchable. They didn't catch
Is
them.
Giselle overrated?
No. What the hell? What? No.
I don't know, man. Like some of these TMZ shots I've seen
What'd you say?
recently of Giselle. I don't know,
That's
she-
like you're staring at the Mona Lisa too long, and you start picking out the flaws, and you're like, you
Yeah.
know what? I just
Well,
the
that means-
lighting. No.
That means she's been on ESPN and TMZ way too much recently. Because I am picking out the flaws. I don't know about that, man. I want you guys to find a Giselle type at Cover Girls when you guys go out there on Wednesday from 9 to 11 p.m. That's what I want.
I'm not trying to break the bank.
Oh, man. Well, you guys know it's top of the hour. We're rolling till 10:15 right here on Sports Rap Live. Let's wrap up just a few more thoughts on the NBA. Or should we talk a little bit about Tiger as they show the highlights of Phil Mickelson?
That was disappointing today.
Okay. Since we will shift gears to golf right now, I got to ask you guys, does Tiger have the LeBrons right now? Because he's looking really good in these early rounds, but where we're used to seeing Tiger dominate on the fourth day, he's really kind of falling apart.
Well, if you want to talk about somebody falling apart on the last day, we've seen that much more from Phil Mickelson than we have from Tiger in his career.
Not today.
Phil is a classic choker. This guy's had so many chances at so many big tournaments. Tiger today, it just shows that he's not there yet. And Tiger, that's fine. He doesn't have to be there right now. This is only, at Pebble. It's not the U.S. Open. This isn't something that's like a major yet.
As we see him miss just a gimme.
You could tell
short
that he was
putt.
just off. He was just off in his game. And the other reason I think you lost today is you put anything with Tony Romo, that thing will fail and tank.
Oh.
And today with Romo, I mean, that there's no surprise that he didn't do well.
It's only fitting we have the soccer talker at the table, of course, who is a huge Cowboys fan. Now, some of these short putts, Luis, look like some of these kicks that were missed by the Cowboys in big situations this year. Do you follow golf at all, soccer talker? Because it is basically in the same breath as soccer as far as some of the big sports.
Nah,
I play
golf.
golf.
Golf is global.
You play golf?
I play golf.
Oh.
Yeah.
Guys, did you hear that? Soccer talker plays golf.
I have,
snap. All right.
I have my Tiger Woods sponsored outfit at home with the shoes and everything. I play golf, but eventually Tiger Woods will be back. He's breaking his mold slowly but surely. He was in the top 5 throughout the whole weekend
Sure.
for the running, but he just
But just like LeBron could score 38 points through the first 3 quarters, it's all about the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It's all about Sundays. Now, you see some of these putts, some of these chips. This is exactly what puts you on the podium as the winner or what keeps you in the middle of the pack.
I think he still has to get used to all the attention that's going to be focused on him. So he just got to get the jiggers, the little bugs off of him.
You say the little jiggers off of him?
little,
You know you're from the South when you say jiggers.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to go Jay-Z on. I'm so crazy right now.
Nah, he got to get the little bugs off of him, but he'll be back. So
Andrew, I got to ask you, how many majors will Tiger win this year?
I put the over/under at a half.
I'll pick one.
I put it at half
Pick
because
one?
he's either going to win one or none. I don't think I don't have enough confidence in him to say 2, and certainly not 3. 3 would be just insane. He would have to be dominating at a very high level, and I just don't see that. I think he'll probably win one. I would probably bet my money that it would be the Masters
That's
because
what I was
that's the
gonna
one
say.
course that
What's
he's
that, in
most
July?
comfortable with.
Is
Yeah,
it
well,
summer?
it's right after March Madness.
Yep.
It's right whenever the tournament starts.
It's right when Jim Nance starts talking real soft to you about the Masters.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say the Masters.
It's right around the Final Four time. That's when you start getting into that. And right around Major League Opening Day as well.
That's right.
But I think that would be the one tournament I would say, mostly because the British is so weird with the links courses and the wind. That's just a very tough course to prepare yourself for. And the U.S. Open is really made to just dominate the player. It's set up for the player to almost, fail more than succeed.
It's all about irons and putting in the U.S. Open, and right now that's exactly what Tiger is struggling with is irons and putting. So, all right, in the last 12 majors, we've had 11 different winners, Andrew. Give us just a couple of the young golfers who can add their name to that list who aren't already on that list, like Rory McIlroy and some of the young guys that have won recently.
That are already, I think Rory would be, he's already won one, but that's a guy who can start to capitalize and get more and more and more. I think he can start to pile them up. I still like Dustin Johnson. I know he has had a lot of, not historic, but a lot of well-publicized fails in his last couple of majors.
In majors, right.
Yeah. But that's a guy that's extremely, extremely talented. I think that's kind of guys like those. I also think it's tough, though, because there's so many young guys. It's so spread out.
I know, I understand, but just a couple names that people can that we might hear us talking about throughout this season in the golf world.
I think those guys, I have Sung Moon Bai, but I don't know if he's going to really kind of turn the corner. It's just so tough to tell because it's such a global game that there's all these kids popping up everywhere across the world.
A lot of Asian influence. We talk about Lynn Sanity. There is a lot of young, really damn good Asian golfers on the tour right now. And the Koreans,
yeah.
of course, they're making noise in the women's tournament as well as the men's tournament. But we'll keep you guys updated. Of course, we'll talk golf, as we get it.
Here, I'll give you this guy.
Yeah.
Ricky Fowler. That's the guy for sure from Oklahoma State. He's a home born bred guy.
Sure,
He's
sure.
always rocking the oranges and the pinks and the reds and the bright Puma gear. That's a kid that I keep my eye on for sure.
Absolutely. And we're keeping our eyes on golf. We'll get into it more and more as the season progresses and we get closer to the majors.
Get closer to the Shell Houston Open, which is
Sure.
the lead up to the Masters.
Sure. Are we going to have Radio Row out there too?
I don't know. We'll have to.
Can you imagine us from the golf course?
No,
here
we'd
in
be too
Houston?
loud.
Yeah, Wednesday night. Well, it
We'll
is
get
Wednesday night,
escorted
so
out.
as the tournament starts to wind down, maybe we'll come on air on Sports Talk 790 for sure. Before we get to Shout Out Sunday, we've got a few minutes left here in the show. Just a few short baseball notes. Of course, the hot stove is always on our show. Andrew keeps his ears to the beat. I know you mentioned something about the Astros and some of the coverage. You called me late the other night. I didn't get the message till the next day.
No, that was a
Was that a
that
drunk
was
call?
a brainstorming session over some suds.
Nice.
Yeah.
I kind of like it though. So we'll talk more about that. But right now, we're just a few notes. Andrew, fan favorite Napoli re-signs with Texas for a 1-year deal.
Yeah, they got to keep him. He's probably one of the best hitting catchers that's out there in the AL. He's important to their team because that's a team that have been looking for a catcher for a long time. They had run to South Philomakia and a bunch of other kids that have now moved on. So they also need stability with no one really knowing what's going on with Josh Hamilton. Because if you look at who was almost the MVP of that, of those series that led up to the World Series,
It was Napoli.
It was Napoli, who was just batting insane out of it, just doing an insane job. And there was no reason he should have been batting that low in the order. But it's good to see him get a new deal. I know we're still kind of looking to see what Roy O is going to do. His options are drying up quick. Every other day I'm reading about Philadelphia or Boston and they don't want him or who he wants them or St. Louis. There's also talk about Cincinnati. There was talk about the Rangers. He's just all over the place. So I'm interested to see where he ends up.
All right, real quick, Ozzy. Of course, Ozzy's in the news as always. Now, Ozzy's not so hip on this Dominican prospect. We went to the Dominican Republic, myself and 10 guys. We wanted to see this kid who's pretty impressive. They compare the kid to a lot of people. They compare him to Bo Jackson. Well, Bo Jackson wasn't a baseball player, as Ozzy says. They compare him to Mondesi. I used to love Raul Mondesi back in the day, by the way. I think Mondesi was better than him. In my own opinion, Mondesi had a better arm. The kid's pretty good. So,
Yoenis Cespedes?
Yeah.
Yeah. This kid, if you go to, there was a YouTube video that was a sensation. I might have taken it down, but it shows him just basically doing core work and him doing push-ups and sit-ups and just crushing the hell out of the baseball.
Nice.
He is, I mean, he's going to be like, he's already 27, so he's a pretty, finished product at this point, but he's going to be fun to watch. And this kid's got swagger through the roof, Adam. I mean, mega swagger. He has like a posse. This kid's gonna be a big deal. I hope he ends up with.
I hope he ends up with the Marlins.
I hope he ends up with the Marlins because
Yes,
that's gonna be that's gonna be a perfect fit.
That team is gonna be awesome. I can't wait. There's gonna be a movie made out of this team, like kind of like Major League back in the late '80s, early '90s. All right, guys, you know what time it is. Sunday night, we do not bring any bad raps. We do not bring any bad vibes to start off your week. We are bringing Shout Out Sunday, and it's brought to you by BC Smoke Shop. And our shout out to the Rat Pack. Here's your chance to save $20 when you go spend $100 at 2 Houston area locations. Westheimer, 7909 Westheimer, of course, 1960 at Jones Road. And all you have to do is go to our website, sportsraplive.com. When you're on the website, check out our brand new podcast powered by amphouston.net. Man, they're really stepping our game up with our podcast. And you guys can check out their other work. Of course, on amphouston.net. They do weddings, they do special events, parties, live broadcasts here at Junction Bar and Grill, and many more. So make sure you guys check them out. Thank y'all for being out here tonight.
Hardest working company I know.
Absolutely, man. They're out here regardless. Rain, shine, sleet, don't matter. They are out here to bring you guys a nice podcast each and every Thursday and Sunday night right here on Sports Rap Live. All right, Luis, we got a few minutes left. You got a shout out tonight. Make it quick, man.
I got a shout out to that was to my bad rap this past Thursday. There's going to be a protest today, all different race groups to denounce that club on Washington Avenue on Roosevelt. Led by, which I did not know he follows soccer, by Quanell X.
Yeah, I heard
Tonight.
about that.
Which supposed to happen earlier today.
Quanell X going against you. You don't want to
So
be.
your shout out to Quanell X
My boy, I
tonight.
never thought I would, but I'm giving shout
There
out to
you go.
Quanell X.
Andrew, shout out Sundays. What you got, babe?
Shout out definitely to Whitney Houston. I mean, it's sad, but we got to send a shout out to her. That's unfortunate.
Now, you've been following the Grammys kind of on the side tonight, Andrew. Have they done anything to honor Whitney Houston on the Grammys?
They did earlier. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I know that they did something for Jennifer Hudson and whatnot. I also know that they've been having a lot of live performances. I know Adele's been killing it, winning all kinds of awards. Apparently, Wheezy almost got arrested. I don't know what's going on.
Really?
That sounds like a Wheezy move.
Is that the usual?
I think Wiz Khalifa was going to try
the usual.
He was going to try to smoke weed on stage tonight and get
Not
kicked
surprising.
out.
I think Adele's probably going to win the record of the year and album of the year. She's probably going to win every award, but
Good for her.
yeah.
Good for her.
So shouts out to Whitney Houston, the whole music scene. I'm sure that's going to be a tough loss for her family.
Absolutely. 48 years old, way too young to lose such a great singer, such a great personality. And she's, of course, known for some of her hijinks as of late, but she's still an incredible artist of our generation. Shout out to Mr. Miyagi for you and just grabbing that fly out of the air like
Yeah,
that.
I know. Oh.
Wow. Miyagi-san. Daniel-san.
Well, I'm going to do a quick shout out. Valentine's Day is coming. So before I forget, shout out to the wifey. You know who you are. And
You
your
know
Urban,
who you are.
and Urban Outfitters for
Okay.
supplying the swag of Kelly Kapowski
Oh, is that where that was
and Urban Outfitters.
Okay, we didn't know the other night.
Which made the wifey look at it like, hey, let me swag him up a little bit and get him that. So shout outs to the wife and Urban
It was
Outfitters.
this close to being a two in the shirt.
Yeah, I know.
Real quick, let me get my shout out in before Big Bob up there at the station cuts me off.
Make quick.
Shout out to Kyle Lowry, Luis Scola, and the Houston Rockets for their gritty-gutty play this season after half their roster was in limbo after the lockout, not knowing if they were on their way out of town for Captain Flopper, and having a brand new coaching staff. Thanks for tuning in to the Rat Pack around the world, wherever you might be. Shout us out on Twitter, and make sure you guys check out the big show tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. with Matt, Adam, and Lance. See y'all Wednesday night from Cover Girls, Richmond, 9 to 11 p.m. That's a wrap.
Crack kills.
Rap.